Alan Wake is a psychological thriller that follows a washed-up novelist who's on vacation to escape his stressful life. The game wastes no time as it throws you right into a nightmare that Alan is having. In the dream, Alan hits a pedestrian with his car and his already fading career is ruined. Okay, not exactly, but he does hit someone. The person he hit disappears and, what do you know, his car breaks down. Alan decides that his best bet is to make his way to the lighthouse that's a mile away. About 10 seconds into his journey, Alan is attacked by a shadow with an axe. So what does he do? He runs away like the little bitch he is. The game uses this time to teach you about the combat mechanics, that being using flashlights to weaken enemies and then finishing them off with a gun. Up ahead is a bridge to the island, but the shadow now has the ability to create tornadoes, and Alan runs across the bridge to meet Clay, a character from one of his books. Despite Clay saving his life, Alan locks him out of the log cabin and watches as he takes an axe to the jugular. Now Alan is trapped, and the shadow is somehow tearing apart the cabin. At the last minute, however, an exit appears and Alan escapes into the light. Once again, the light teaches you the gameplay mechanics, and Alan eventually makes it to the lighthouse. Now Alan is awake, and he's arrived at Bright Falls. This scene is completely unnecessary, but we're forced to wait until the barge docks. Alan and his wife get into the car, and we immediately begin to see product placement shoved down our throats. Notice the Lincoln MKX with Sync by Microsoft. Alice drops Alan off to get the keys to the cabin from a guy named Carl. But before he can do that, he has to deal with some of the most annoying townsfolk to ever appear in a video game. Carl's in the back blowing up the restroom, so some creepy old lady waiting outside the men's room gives Alan the key. Because of this scenario, I will now refer to him as Hot Carl. Don't get the reference? I'm sure Urban Dictionary can help. Alice pulls up and shows Alan that she bought Energizer trademark flashlights and she's afraid of the dark. So the couple gets settled into the cabin and Alice manages to piss off Alan by buying him a typewriter. Alan knows he's washed up and decides to go for a walk. As soon as he leaves, however, the lights go out and Alice screams like she's being brutally murdered. Alan rushes in only to find that Alice, in her moment of panic, accidentally fell into the lake and is now drowning, so he dives in after her to try and save her. The next scene shows Alan waking up from a car crash in the middle of the woods. He sees a gas station about 2 miles away and begins making his way towards it. Not very long after, he discovers a logging camp owned by Hot Carl. As he gets closer, he hears Hot Carl partaking in his evening ritual of impersonating radio commercials. As it turns out, Hot Carl is a shadow and Alan runs into the cabin to escape. Hot Carl has a bulldozer and begins to run the cabin off of a cliff, but Alan finds a revolver and a flashlight just in time to escape the doomed cabin. Once again out in the open, Alan treks down the mountainside, fighting more shadows until he reaches a timber yard right next to the gas station. Alan kills Hot Carl and uses the gas station phone to call the police. Sheriff Breaker arrives and Alan tells her his story, leaving out the fact that he just shot and killed 31 people on his way over. The sheriff tells Alan that the cabin he was staying at does not exist, and thus ends episode 1 of Alan Wake.